Welcome once again. It's the Close the Deal show with Terrence McCray. San Francisco viewers, we're back here today, as you can see, with a long list of issues that we have going on in San Francisco and our community. Today, I brought the United Players back on the show today because they're here to once again, promote and remove off these streets guns, because we know there's an epidemic with young kids bringing guns to school, not just recently but consistently, with these mass shootings across the nation, shooting up in schools, shooting up in places of business, shooting up in hospitals. We need to address this issue. So once again, today we have the United Players here to talk about their gun buyback campaign. So I would like all three gentlemen to introduce themselves on the show so you can get familiar with them.
Hello, my name is Glenn Holden, and I'm do reentry work with United Players.
And what's your position at United Players?
My position is working with reentry. I started out with elementary, and I now work with reentry. I'm the reentry coordinator.
Okay, and your name is?
My name is Glenn Holden.
Okay, Mr. Holden.
Good afternoon. My name is Jackie White, and I work as an assistant to Brother Bo right here at United Players, the reentry program.
And how long have you been there?
Um, a little over 2.5 years.
Okay.
Oh,
Sir?
my name is Freddie, and they call me Uncle Freddie. And I've been working United Player for about almost a year, and I'm involved on domestic violence mostly, and that's what I do. Get involved domestic violence because mostly domestic violence had a lot of drugs, suicide, stuff like that. So we cannot put any guns around them. You know, I feel like those are dangerous and change people. See, gun is just like money. When you have money, you change, and when you had a gun in your hand, and you will change, and you might hurt somebody, and that's a lot of ripple effect.
Definitely, definitely. So here today we're going to talk about, removing guns off the streets. But as you can see and hear, United Players don't just address the issue dealing with gun buyback. They're addressing the issue with individuals coming out of prison and helping them re-enter back into society, as well as domestic violence issues. And for someone who has been formerly incarcerated or have been with a history of a criminal background, clearly are the right type of people that you want to connect with and learn from those experiences of what not to do. So, Mr. Holden, could you share with the viewers, what we are looking for, and when is this next campaign about to take place with the gun buyback, so all the people in the city could be aware of and
So
where they can go to?
So before I start on that, man, I give a shout out, man, and thank you so much for having us on your show, Terrence. We appreciate it for you to have us here to get the word out. You know what
Correct.
I mean? And the word, like we said, gun buyback is going to be held on June 30th.
Okay.
We have a big poster here.
So that's 29 days from today.
29 days from today. So we'll have it June 30th from 8 in the morning till 12 p.m. Come by, no questions asked. Come by, we'll give you $100 for a pistol, $200 for assault rifle. Firearm specialist will remove it from the trunk. You keep going, Rudy will give you the money in an envelope and be on your way. 1 gun, 2 guns, 30, 40 guns. It don't matter. We're going to give you $100 a gun, $200 for assault rifles.
So this can impact not only the city in preventing crime prevention, but how is this impacting as a whole, as a community?
So, as a community, and it really impacts the community. You get one gun off the street, man, you can change, you're changing people's lives. Just one gun can kill somebody that can change the world. You kill the wrong person, it can change the world. It's not a wrong person, a right person. Any child, any grown-up, anyone, man, can make an impact in the community and in everyone's life. So, you take a life, man, and it's far-reaching. You creating more victims, and you're creating a situation that you just can't get it back. The Lord put us here for a reason, man, and everything and every day is a blessing to live and to get these guns off the street, man. Suicides are another thing. My sister died of suicide.
Sorry to hear that.
She committed suicide in 1980, and she was mentally unstable at the time, and found a loaded weapon in someone's house, and shot herself. So we have guns laying around, and certain types of the year, certain times of the year, we have violence, domestic violence, like Uncle Freddie said. It just impacts us all the way around. We're not against people who own weapons, who are responsible. We're not against the Second Amendment. We'd like these guns to have locks on them, not just laying around in people's homes where children have access to them, and adults who drunk, out of line, domestic violence, arguing with their folks. A weapon is picked up, man, and they use it senselessly.
A lot of times you find a lot of kids with peer pressure. Recently on the news, they had a young kid take a 9mm gun in his backpack, and they found it in school. And if it wasn't for a witness seeing this person with this gun, who knows what type of emotional problems that this kid was going through that allowed this kid to take a gun to school. Because I know guns are only made for one thing. That's to hurt people.
It's to hurt people.
Okay.
And hurt people hurt people. You
Correct.
feel me? United Playaz is dedicated to nonviolence. We have, our program works with elementary, we work with middle school, we work with high school, we work with young adults. It's a constant struggle with these children, man, because we don't know what's going on in their household. A lot of these children we work with come from single parents, single parent in the home. It's a safe haven for these children to come to our center for us to help them. We have great staff on board all the time, and today's graduation for a lot of our children, a lot of our kids. And through the week we've had graduations, and
what was those graduations for?
These graduating from elementary school,
okay,
into going into middle school going into high school, and we've had our staff, some of them graduating from college. So we've had the whole gambit from elementary all the way.
For the summertime, will these kids have something to go to as far as United Playaz?
In 2 weeks, our summer program's going to start, so we'll probably serve at least 200 kids during the summer.
That's wonderful.
We're going to serve them from 9 in the morning all the way to 5 at night. The older kids will stay till at least 6 or 7.
So do these kids also get the type of, not just nourishment, but do they get the type of knowledge and information to prevent themselves becoming a victim of gun violence?
We do a lot of workshops dealing with that. We'll call on people, psychologists, sociologists, people who are in the know with the problems of children, problems in the school, and we'll have a lot of workshops. We put on a lot of things that are going to, give back not only to the community as a whole, because the children are coming from the community and they're going to end up going back to these communities. So, we give them as much information like that and education about what's going on these streets, about handle themselves, how to deal with the police, how just to become a better member of the community, and how to engage with their teachers on a respectful and genuine level, because we want them to read, we want them to have good grades, and we teach them all that. So.
What organizations has United Playaz teamed up with to put this gun buyback campaign together?
We have numerous organizations on the flyer. I mean, San Francisco Police Department, Gun by Gun. We have, I need my glasses, the Brady Campaign. You can read some of these.
Who are that, Jackie?
Barbary Coast, Grassroots, Nug.
That's all good.
Right.
With explanation with some of these are cannabis clubs,
okay.
And we dealing now with people in our community who, we want this city to recognize that the people, that black and brown people that were affected by the war on drugs are now can be involved with the equity program.
Okay.
So, you know, all these people parachuting in from different locations throughout the world actually and coming into here and setting up shop and getting all these millions of dollars. We need to also be a part of that. And the cannabis industry has given us and helped us fund our gun buyback also. So there's a lot of positive things going on in the community, and we have grants that come from the Warriors, from the Giants. I mean, we're pretty much an all-around organization. You know, we hustling. We still got to get out there and hustle. We're in the Southern Market, which is a huge development area, as you guys know, and so when we see all these buildings going up and new projects coming in, we need to get with these architects and these developers, man, and get with them and let them know that our community is also suffering in the areas where we're located in our schools, and that we need money, man, to help us function. And this is where we get a lot of donations.
Okay, so where could the people actually come that wants to turn in a gun and receive that contribution for turning in a gun?
1038 Howard Street, San Francisco.
Can you say that again?
1038 Howard Street.
And how much do they get for a handgun?
$100 for a handgun and $200 for an assault weapon.
So the last time y'all did the show, and we did the gun buyback, how many guns were removed off the streets from that last show?
From the last show, and then we did the gun buyback, we have got 280 guns off the street.
What?
280 guns, and that's big.
Wow.
That's big.
That is.
We've had we've had old ladies coming through with guns in the trunk that they were scared to death to get out of their cabinet. You know, had somebody go get them. Been in the homes for years. Could have been burglarized. Could have been snatched up by some of the boys in the hood. You know, and taken and did some damage. You know, killed. We've had we got a anti-tank gun, like a bazooka. We had a cannonball. They had to call the bomb squad in. It was many. But yeah, it was many. But it was all good. And, you know, it's the line opens at 8 in the morning and shuts down at noon. And, you know what, 280 guns. And
so
there's
in
a
the
story.
last campaign, it was 280 guns.
280 guns that
was.
was removed from the streets of San Francisco and from the surrounding community.
We want to break that record this year.
That's what we wanna
2018.
do.
We want to break that record this year and remove more than 280 guns out there on the streets, because there's a constant issue with drugs. And we know in San Francisco, wherever there's drugs, there's guns.
That's right.
So we definitely want to address that issue and prevent any senseless robberies, prevent any senseless murders, prevent any senseless death. Because, you know, a tourist, when they come to San Francisco, their idea is to have a good time and to see the most beautiful areas that this city has to offer, not someone sticking a barrel down their face.
That's true.
We don't want that. We want people to talk about this city in a positive way, like they've always talked about it, which is one of the reasons why this city is so beautiful, because people have nice things to say about this city, but they shouldn't have to say they've been robbed at gunpoint.
And I'm thinking, you know, a number was given to me just the other day. We were talking about this is like the capital of tourist capital of the world. And like 20 million tourists come through this city annually. I mean, that's big. You know?
That's huge.
And, you know, even though this city, man, with its police department, with its politics and everything else, it ain't up to par like it's supposed to be. But you know what? We can do our part. And everybody from the community can do their part. And we ain't trying to save the world. We ain't trying to save the whole city. But you know what? At least we're trying to save a block. You know, from the pyramids, right? From the projects to the pyramids. That's how it go.
Definitely.
You ain't got to try and save everything, but damn, get down, get dirty, get right, man. But you got to work every day at it, you know.
Yeah, because
It's
me
ever
personally,
moving.
for the suicide rate that's high all across the nation, you know, who knows how many one of those 280 guns could have prevented suicide from occurring.
Absolutely.
You know, so we definitely want to prevent that from happening. You know, no
Absolutely.
one wants to lose a life behind a gun or senseless.
You know,
Jackie?
I don't think the public is aware of of the ripple effect that one gun has in the community. That one gun has an effect. Imagine a pond, and you take a pebble and throw it, and it lands in the pond. And the ripple effect from that one pebble ripples all the way back to the shore. Well, the same thing with a gun. When a gun is used, the ripple effect that it causes. It causes, Joe Citizen might say, well, that was Jackie White that got shot. It wasn't me. But yes, it affects you. It affects you. It affects you. Your tax dollars is going to policemen and firemen that have to come to the scene, that has to transport this body to the hospital. Then you got the nurses and the doctors have to deal with that body and that trauma. And then they take it home to their kids and their families. Little Johnny might want to talk about the baseball game that he had today. But the surgeon don't want to talk because the trauma that he had to see another black man or a black kid shot in the street. And he's taking that home with him. That's that ripple effect. And we're not even talking about the family. The family, it affects for generations. For generations. Where here's a man, here's a gun used and on this young kid, and his family won't see him grow up. His siblings won't enjoy a brother. His parents won't see this guy, this kid or this female have a marriage and have children of their own. And it's just a ripple effect. And it even, and I can speak from experience.
How so?
Well, the effect that it had in my family. I did 25 years in prison.
For what?
For murder. And the effect that I didn't never think that this ripple effect was in it. This is bogus. I don't want to hear nothing about this. But I watched a grandchild come through the prison system of the victim that died at the hands of the gun that was used in my case. I saw his grandchild come to prison. And I thought, when I went back to my cell, I thought, if he had to live, what kind of effect would he have had on his grandson? Would his grandson have been here today? And, that's that ripple effect, man.
It's a ripple effect is a big ripple effect, and when you do a murder, you will have a victim that never been born yet.
Sure.
And before all that thing start on triggers. A lot of people had triggers of bad behavior, people under influence. We're in the party city. Anybody can pick up a gun. See, with triggers, they have good job. The one been in love with somebody, it hurt. See, the reason why I joined this program, I see all those people in suicide, domestic violence. I can feel their heart hurt for years and years with one bullet. And that's why the reason why I joined this, so maybe I can throw something in there that they can catch it, and somebody will all get together, help together, because it's all about love. And then when you love someone and something happen, you hold or you don't hold, is affect the honesty, because honesty, if you don't use honesty, you like secret and lie and compassion, and it hurt everybody over a gun. A gun don't did nothing. The gun is just right there, but they had triggers, and we still working on triggers. We don't know what kind of triggers what kill him, how they do it, how they do that. So, and we just try to prevent it. If we can stop the triggers, we'll stop the gun.
So
You know?
let's get them guns off the street. And with respect to that, anybody can cross that line. Anybody. Not just they're from an impoverished neighborhood. Poverty and gun violence and it's the projects, and that's why you got all that, man. Anybody can cross the line. Rich folks, poor folks, it don't matter. But the effect is just way out. And what I wanted to speak on with them 280 weapons, our brother Rudy, executive director, we give a shout out to Rudy, man, that MLK's family, Martin Luther King, his family in Atlanta invited Rudy back to Atlanta. They had a proposal. They said this is the 50th year of the assassination of Brother Martin Luther King, and they wanted to plant 50 trees in honor of, Martin Luther King and our gun buyback. So the 50 trees represented the assassination of Martin Luther King, and the shovels and the guns used were made 50 shovels. 50 shovels were made. The weapons were thrown into a furnace at a foundry, and one of the king's great-grandchildren threw the first gun in. And when the forge was melting the metal, they created these shovels, and these 50 shovels helped bring life instead of death, these weapons. So our weapons were used to the making of these shovels. It was way out when Rudy sent us the videos of what was going on and taking place, and it was really a scene. It's out the Bible, from
Ezekiel,
from
scripture.
plowshares,
The
right?
scriptures said it
From
was
swords to
turned
plowshares. Ezekiel, that from swords to plowshares, and they actually made plowshares and made shovels and planted 50 trees in honor of Martin Luther King with the weapons that we here in San Francisco got off the street. It was real heavy. It was a great thing to do. One other thing is the senseless gun violence is just continues, man. And like we say, any gun that gets off the streets, man, is a blessing. And one other thing I would like to promote is that we do outreach with reentry guys who get out of prison. We have a team of 10, put 2 per team. That's 5 teams, 10 guys, East Bay, North Bay, South Bay, here in the city, to pass out the flyers to help us get the word out, and it's great that they get out there and promote the gun buyback for us.
And we don't.
Go ahead.
And we don't want to, get misconstrued about the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
I'm for the Second Amendment. But what is an assault weapon used for? It's not for hunting, not.
In the city.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not for hunting rabbits in the city.
Sure.
I did 25 years. A life was taken, and I vowed to dedicate the rest of my life, man, what I have left, to just try to make things right. I can't change the world, but I can change what I can change. That little bit, and I've committed my life to it.
I think we've all gained some proper insight into what we've done, throughout our lives when we were growing up little. In my case, I was a little gangbanger when I was young, all the way throughout my life, and I ended up spending all my life in prison pretty much. I went to prison when I was 18 years old. I didn't get out until I was 64 years old. I did 45 years straight. I didn't kill nobody on the streets, but I did kill another inmate in prison, another gang member. So, if you lack insight and you have that violent tendency and you ever change and you got no reason or remorse about you, man, you're going to come right out here and do the same thing again, you know. So luckily we found a place with United Players Violence Prevention Organization, man, that really helped me in my life because I worked with the elementary kids. So it's really for me elementary to the penitentiary. And I got out, started working with elementary, and now I'm working reentry. So I really made the circle, right? So, you know, it's really something, man. It's a pleasure being a part of United Players, and it's a pleasure working with Rudy Corpus and the UP and all the staff. We have 17 staff members. We all dedicated. We're all just working together, and it's really a blessing, bro.
It truly is to have you gentlemen not only come on the show and talk about a major issue dealing with guns in our nation and in our city of San Francisco. I want to thank you all three gentlemen for not just coming on the show, but for telling your own personal life stories and letting the people know you are people today, but you're reformed people.
That's right.
And through that process of you reforming, you've not only developed empathy, but you developed an understanding and how to give back. And that's all what we want to hear, you know. So you in San Francisco, give back by removing these illegal guns off the streets, you know, so that it don't take a life of an innocent child, so it don't hurt someone or traumatize someone, because guns hurt people and they're not used for hurting people. They're used for recreational sport in hunting and not in robbery, okay? So keep that in mind, but most importantly, go to on June 30th, 2018, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Go to United Players 1038 and remove Howard Street and remove these guns off the street. We're talking about a handgun, $100, and an assault rifle, $200. Let's work as a whole. Let's work as a community. Let's work as a family.
That's right.
And remove these guns off the streets.
No questions asked. Come get that money.
That's
Summer
it.
coming.
That's all.
Water World, Great America. You never know where you need to go.
Monday nights, Channel 29. Tune in at 8:30 on cable Comcast, or go to www.theclosethedealshow.com. See you.